A letter arrives. You open it and think, ugh, not again.
Your tax return. Lots of people put it off for months and hope it will simply go away on its own.
But it's actually much less complicated than you think. And here's the best part. You can even save a bit of money.
Today, we'll show you step by step how to understand your tax return. Fill it in correctly and avoid giving away money. Hello, I'm Dani.
And I'm Vanessa. Today we're discussing a topic that maybe no one has ever properly explained. How to fill in a tax return without pulling your hair out.
But first things first, filing a tax return isn't a punishment.
It's what allows the tax office to calculate how much tax you actually have to pay. No more and no less.
And it's your chance to claim deductions and save on taxes. You'd be surprised how many people lose money like this.
And by the way, taxes are the basis for a solid infrastructure in Switzerland, whether it's for education, healthcare, social security, or public administration. So in the end, that benefits you too. Before we really get started, we wanted to find out how other Swiss people feel about the subject. We asked people on the street.
Machst du deine Steuererklärung selber oder macht das jemand für dich? Ich mache meine Steuererklärung selber, habe aber einen Steuerberater für Zusatzfragen.
Also meine Eltern machen es für mich. Ich mache sie selber, aber ich mache sie mit meiner Mami, weil sie dann noch ein bisschen mehr draus kommt als ich.
Ganz klar selber. Ja, das ist nicht kompliziert.
Man kann alles online jetzt einreichen, das ist eigentlich ziemlich simpel.
Wie lange brauchst du so etwa dafür?
Aber es auch nicht, dass man eine halbe Stunde braucht.
Das Schlimmste ist Unterlagen zusammensuchen, aber ich würde sagen so eine halbe Stunde bis Stunde.
Vielleicht so 1,5 Stunden. Wenn man irgendwelche Auszüge oder so bekommt, einfach irgendwo in einen Ordner abspeichern, dass man das nicht alles suchen muss, wenn man dann Steuererklärung macht.
20 Minuten zum Machen, 6-7 Minuten zum Rausschieben. So.
One thing is clear, with a little know-how, filing your tax return is child's play. Let's start at the very beginning. Who is actually required to file a tax return?
In Switzerland, you become liable for taxes on your 18th birthday.
In most cantons, you have to file a tax return, whatever your income, regardless of whether you earn 500 Swiss francs or 5,000 Swiss francs.
You must also declare part-time jobs, grants, and small incomes. They're partially exempt from taxes, but you still have to report them.
By the way, if you find the video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel.
How does the Swiss tax system work?
In Switzerland, taxes are collected at 3 levels: federal, cantonal, and municipal.
There can be big differences, especially at cantonal and municipal level. That also explains why your friend from the neighboring village might have to pay much less tax than you do.
Which means the amount of tax you pay varies depending on where you live. The key term here is tax multiplier. That's basically the multiplier for your municipality. Depending on where you live, you'll pay more or less, even with the same income. That's why it's worth looking at the neighboring municipality.
And it's important to know that there are provisional and final taxes.
Provisional taxes are an estimate based on the previous year. Final taxes are the amount calculated once you filed your tax return.
That means either you have to pay the difference or get a refund, depending on how your income has changed.
Before we carry on, here's a little quiz for you. Note down your answers and post them in the comments.
The question is, what's the maximum amount? You can deduct from your taxable income for training costs. A, 4,000 Swiss francs. B, 13,000 Swiss francs. Or C, 20,000 Swiss francs.
Think you know the answer? We'll give it to you now.
The correct answer is B. You can deduct up to 13,000 Swiss francs of training costs from your taxable income. That includes tuition, course materials, travel expenses, and meals. That's the maximum amount via direct federal tax. Check carefully to see if your canton has a different limit. There are tax tools available to help you.
Not so bad, right? But there are lots of other deductions. We'll come back to them. Before you get started, make sure you gather all the relevant documents. That makes the process so much easier.
Here's a checklist. Salary statement. You'll receive this from your employer. Bank and interest statements for all your bank or investment accounts. Pillar 3A confirmation, if you contribute. Health insurance certificate for premiums or out-of-pocket expenses. Receipts for job-related expenses, public transport pass, training, etc.
Free tip: create a file physically or digitally and gather all the relevant documents during the year. Then you'll have everything ready.
And once you have everything ready, it usually only takes 30 minutes. Seriously. Let's start filling it in. The best way is to use the tax software from your canton of residence.
Online or with software, depending on the canton. Just Google tax return and the relevant canton, and you'll find the official tool. In most cases, you'll receive a letter with all the details about the tool. That makes it even easier to get started. Step 1, personal information.
First, provide your personal information. That's partly to determine your tax bracket. For example, if you're single, married, have children, etc. And you also have to indicate whether you have to pay church tax. Step 2, income.
This is where you enter your salary. You can find it on your salary statement. What matters is you enter your net salary after all. Deductions, not your gross salary.
The aim is to calculate your taxable income. This forms the basis for your tax bill. Step 3, assets.
Now your assets. Bank accounts, savings accounts, investments, plus things like your car.
Don't panic. It's about being transparent, not about how much they're worth. The tax office just wants to know what you have, not what you do with it. Step 4, expenses and deductions.
Now comes the part where you can save a lot of money. Expenses and deductions. That's the heart of it all.
Here's a detailed overview of the most common deductions. There are more of them, but we'll concentrate on the most relevant.
Job-related expenses. Travel expenses such as a public transport pass, enter the monthly price times 12. Or car expenses, if you're really dependent on a car. But watch out, depending on the canton, there can be different upper limits. Then there are meal expenses, typically between 7 Swiss francs and 15 Swiss francs per workday. Depending on whether your employer subsidizes your meals, you can calculate this over the full year and deduct up to 3,200 Swiss francs. And then there are minor expenses like specialist literature, office supplies, or work clothes. There are usually lump sum deductions for these.
Training costs, as we saw in the quiz, you can deduct up to 13,000 Swiss francs per year. This includes tuition fees, course materials, and books. Travel and meal expenses and exam fees.
Voluntary retirement planning, Pillar 3A, that's an absolute game changer.
You can deduct contributions into Pillar 3A directly from your taxable income. This reduces your tax burden while helping you save for retirement, so it's win-win.
The maximum amount for 2026 is 7,258 Swiss francs for employees with a pension fund. You can deduct that in full.
Let's do a sample calculation. You earn 60,000 Swiss francs net per year and live in the canton of Zurich. This amount is shown on your salary statement. Without any deductions, you'll pay taxes on this exact amount. But then you pay the maximum amount of 7,258 Swiss francs into your 3A account. This reduces your taxable income to 52,742 Swiss francs. Depending on your income, you can save 1,500 Swiss francs to 2,500 Swiss francs in taxes. And that's per year, don't forget.
And that money isn't lost. It actually all goes toward your retirement. And it even earns interest for you, so it's win-win.
And here are a few more deductions that people often overlook. Medical expenses you pay out of pocket, as long as they are higher than a certain amount. Donations to non-profit organizations. Interest on loans, if you have one. Childcare costs for daycare, a childminder, and so on.
It's best to check your cantonal tax form. That has a full list of all the deductions.
So how much should you budget for your taxes? A common myth is that the 13th month's salary is for paying taxes.
That's not quite true anymore. A more realistic estimate is 1.5 to 2 months' salary as a rough guide, depending on your income and place of residence.
It's best to use a tax calculator. The Federal Tax Administration has one available online, and many cantons offer something similar too.
Free tip, calculate in advance how much tax you'll have to pay, or compare it to the previous year. Then set aside some money each month to cover your taxes. It's best to set up a standing order from a separate account. That way, you won't end up with any nasty surprises.
In many cantons, you can even make advance tax payments, every month or every quarter. A few cantons even pay a small amount of interest. An advance tax payment is simply a prepayment toward your taxes, which will be deducted from your final tax bill.
The deadline for filing a tax return is usually the end of March.
But an extension is almost always easy to arrange, online or via email to the municipality.
If you're unsure, tax advisors or official support services can help you. Don't hesitate to ask if something is unclear.
Many municipalities even offer free consultations. Make sure you check online to see if your municipality has this type of service. Recap: filing a tax return may seem complicated, but it isn't. Being well prepared saves time. Gather all the documents you need throughout the year. Knowing your deductions pays off. Job-related expenses, training, Pillar 3A. Pillar 3A is a game changer. It enables you to save a lot of money on taxes. Set aside money for taxes every month. This will help you avoid any surprises.
Filing your own tax return gives you a clear overview and control. And the feeling when you finally submit it is amazing.
That's the first step toward financial peace of mind.
And how do you handle your taxes? Tell us in the comments.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Share the video.
And good luck with your next tax return.